Welcome to The Debate. Today we're focusing on what is, well, really the defining athletic rivalry of our generation, the statistical collision between Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo. Our discussion is grounded in a pretty comprehensive statistical report that aggregates and projects their careers all the way up to the 2025-2026 season.
And this is more than just a comparison. It's an examination of two, completely unprecedented statistical outliers. We have over 1,000 professional games of data for each player, 2 full decades of dominance. So the central question we have to answer is, I think, fundamental. How should we define greatest when the volume of achievement is just this staggering?
Exactly. Our specific disagreement today is over the criteria for that valuation. I'm going to argue that the ultimate measure has to prioritize superior efficiency, unmatched vision, and the command of all offensive facets of the game. That's the case for the total genius.
And I'll counter that. I think the criteria for the ultimate standard must prioritize unparalleled goal volume, physical longevity across those 2 decades, and the ability to decisively conquer varied high-pressure competitive contexts. That is the case for the supreme athlete. And this report, I think, beautifully highlights the tension between those 2 paths to greatness.
So, I'll start by framing the argument for Messi. His claim to the pinnacle, it really rests on his capacity to serve simultaneously as an elite goal scorer, which is a claim few forwards ever achieve, while also being, arguably the greatest creative midfield presence in the modern era. He doesn't just score goals, he engineers the entire flow of the game. The most immediate piece of evidence in the report that illustrates this totality is the gap in minutes per direct goal contribution. So that's goals plus assist. The data shows Messi produces a goal or an assist every 71.7 minutes of play. Ronaldo, by comparison, requires 87.5 minutes. That 16-minute difference, compounded over a career, is the very definition of superior leverage and impact minute for minute. This raw efficiency is why when you combine it with an overwhelming lead in the sport's highest individual honor, 8 Ballon d'Ors versus 5, the global consensus has consistently favored his overall impact.
I come at it from a different perspective. That efficiency metric, while powerful, I think it fundamentally diminishes the virtue of availability, of durability, and of conquering different competitive environments. Ronaldo's claim to the top is rooted in unparalleled volume and maximal achievement across varied contexts, something that demands a different kind of greatness.
Okay.
First, let's just establish the context of volume. Ronaldo is the undisputed all-time goals leader, having surpassed, 957 goals? He achieved this through sheer longevity and greater availability, playing over 106,000 minutes compared to Messi's approximately 93,000. Availability, maximized to this degree, is a form of discipline and superiority. Furthermore, true universal dominance requires adaptation. Ronaldo didn't just stay dominant, he moved and he conquered. He has won league titles and been the best player in England, Spain, and Italy. That success across the 3 most demanding leagues, it provides a stronger taste for universal, transferable greatness compared to Messi's club career, which, until very late, was defined by the hegemony of La Liga.
That longevity is historically significant. I'll certainly grant you that. And conquering multiple leagues is an admirable feat of adaptation. But when we strip away the context and look solely at the sheer mechanics of goal scoring, the raw volume advantage begins to weaken against efficiency and execution. If we just look at goal frequency, we confirm Messi as the more frequent scorer, needing 104.3 minutes per goal versus Ronaldo's 111.2 minutes. That 7-minute difference per goal translates across their shared minutes to dozens of additional scores for Messi. But let's go deeper than mere frequency. We have to look at the quality of execution, and this is where expected goals, or XG, becomes essential.
I see why you want to prioritize efficiency, but I think that emphasis sort of misses the strategic value of high volume.
Well, XG, for anyone uninitiated, measures the probability that a shot taken from a specific location and under certain circumstances will result in a goal. The data consistently shows Messi as a statistically superior technical finisher because he consistently overperforms his XG by a greater margin than Ronaldo. This means he converts low-probability chances, technically difficult shots, better than anyone else. The report cites the 2018-2019 season as an extreme example. Messi scored 10 goals above what XG predicted. That is a devastating demonstration of superior finishing quality. And furthermore, his domination from outside the area, 105 long-range goals versus Ronaldo's 72, it forces defenses to operate higher up the pitch, which fundamentally changes the tactical setup of the opponent.
That's a compelling argument, but I'm just not convinced that statistical efficiency inherently trumps the strategic pressure applied by volume. That technical gap doesn't invalidate the system of pressure Ronaldo creates.
Okay.
Look, Ronaldo's higher shot frequency, around 6.4 shots per goal compared to Messi's 5.4, it shouldn't be labeled as inefficiency. It's a calculated tactical mechanism. That high volume of attempts, even the speculative ones, creates constant defensive chaos. It forces turnovers, it generates valuable rebounds, and it results in corners that benefit the whole team. It is a measurable tactical impact, often overlooked when we focus solely on the player's personal conversion rate. Moreover, you focus on the ground game, but we have to discuss the tactical dimension Ronaldo possesses that Messi, that he completely lacks: aerial threat.
I fully acknowledge the importance of the aerial game, sure.
The disparity in headed goals is massive. Ronaldo has scored over 156 career headers, while Messi has around 30. This makes Ronaldo a threat regardless of how a defense tries to neutralize the attack. If you stop the ground game, he elevates. This is an essential tactical tool, a dimension of finishing that simply doesn't exist in Messi's repertoire. And you couple that with his truly phenomenal ambidexterity, having scored over 180 goals with his theoretical weak foot, his left. Ronaldo demonstrates a breadth of finishing tools few players in history can even come close to matching.
That ambidexterity is remarkable. 180 goals on a weak foot that's the entire career of a very successful professional. But let's transition from finishing mechanics to the engine of creation, because this is where the debate shifts, I think, decisively toward the total footballer. We established the nearly 150 assist gap, which demonstrates Messi's role as an elite playmaker. But the most devastating data point confirming Messi as the play's architect is his mastery of vertical passing. He has completed over 500 through balls, those incisive, defense-splitting passes behind the last line, compared to Ronaldo's fewer than 100. That 5-to-1 order of magnitude difference fundamentally alters how their teams function. Messi is the player who draws the blueprints for the attack. Ronaldo is the ultimate specialized executor who follows them.
I acknowledge the abyss in the creation statistics. The data is clear. Messi is the superior playmaker. However, I view Ronaldo's career evolution not as a deficit but as optimal, singular adaptation. He purposefully sacrificed the dribbling and playmaking facets, drastically reducing his heat map outside the penalty area post-2014 to hyper-specialize into the perfect, most ruthlessly efficient one-touch finisher. This specialization is what maximized his ability to score goals deep into his late 30s.
But that intense specialization came at a critical cost: team control and progression. When we look at the dribbling data, Messi has successfully completed over 4,000 successful dribbles, compared to Ronaldo's under 2,000. That ability is not just showmanship. It allows Messi to drop into midfield, use elite close control to eliminate one or two defenders, and generate automatic numerical superiority. This capacity to eliminate pressure and advance the ball, especially in his late career quarterback role, is a critical form of contribution completely absent in Ronaldo's game.
That's a fair criticism regarding ball progression. But let's discuss consistency in the moments of highest tension, where tactical certainty is paramount. The role of the ultimate finisher demands perfect mechanics and set-piece scenarios. And while Messi recently pulled ahead in free-kick goals, Ronaldo remains the indisputably more reliable penalty taker. His career conversion rate stands at 84% versus Messi's 78%. That 6% difference is massive when the title or the match or knockout progression hinges on a single kick. That tactical certainty under pressure is a form of superiority. And this brings us to the ultimate arena for measuring greatness, performance in moments that define careers. And I would assert that in the highest level of recurring club competition, the UEFA Champions League, Ronaldo is statistically and I think overwhelmingly superior, and that consistency trumps one-off tournament success.
I'm not convinced by that line of reasoning because it seems to privilege an annual club competition over the absolute pinnacle of the international game.
His statistics in the Champions League knockout stages are almost irrefutable proof of his competitive superiority. Ronaldo holds the absolute record in Champions League knockout goals with 67 versus 49 for Messi. And crucially, as the competition advances and the pressure intensifies, Ronaldo's production actually compounds. He has more than doubled Messi's production in the quarterfinals with 25 goals versus 12, and he holds a commanding lead in the semifinals, 13-6. His legacy is defined by these consistent, decisive interventions, often in hostile European environments year after year. He is the standard for clutch performance in the defining club tournament.
I agree. He absolutely defined an era of the Champions League. But we must counter that KO stage club focus with the absolute final stage, both club and country, and critically, international success. Messi dominates goals scored in all finals, with 35 goals versus 25 for Ronaldo. More significantly, he guarantees production in those ultimate matches with over 50 total goal contributions versus Ronaldo's 27. When the trophy is actually on the line, Messi is twice as likely to have a direct impact.
Okay.
But the tiebreaker, the final irreversible factor that truly shifts the historical valuation, is the World Cup legacy. While the Champions League is an 8-month annual battle, the World Cup is a 4-week cauldron where the pressure is condensed to an almost intolerable degree.
That concentration of stakes is undeniable, of course.
And Messi's performance in 2022, where he scored in the group stage, the round of 16, the quarterfinals, the semifinals, and produced a decisive brace in the final. That decisively closed any debate on his leadership and big game ability on the grandest stage. That sustained, decisive impact across all knockout rounds is the definitive measure of universal greatness.
I won't diminish the magnitude of that achievement. It is monumental.